Okay, so here we go. It's the 14th of January, 2026. We started the day at plus 4 degrees this morning and raining, and it's just around 1500 hours, and we're cruising on down below zero, headed towards -6. And it's scenario-based training day for Niners Zulu. So the plan is we're going to walk from the school all the way to the nearest safe haven, which is my place, approximately 6 kilometers away. So this is what the map route kind of looks like. If we go from the school, which is right around here, and then we go up to number 10 side road, over the second concession, all the way down to Chatsworth Road 24, and then over to my place. It's about 6 kilometers. I've used an estimated travel speed of 15 minutes per kilometer under the conditions with the young fella, and probably take about 90 minutes, maybe a little longer, to get here from there based on the scenario I've laid out. This is the estimated time of travel record from checkpoint to checkpoint for him to follow along as we go, and he can keep track of, because our mission is just to get to the safe haven, which is our house. Nothing else, just get from the school to there in a timely and safe fashion. Okay, Vincent, in the Army world, this is what we call scenario-based training. So I'm going to read you the scenario first, okay? It says, 2 weeks ago, a coronal mass ejection on the surface of the sun sent out an electromagnetic pulse that directly impacted North America. Nationwide infrastructure failure has occurred, with the central part of Canada and U.S. being the most affected. Nothing electric has worked for 3 days. Chaos has ensued. Civilization as we know it has started to collapse. Left-wing indoctrination experts, your teachers, at the Holland Chatsworth School have started to panic. With no food, no water left, and all their alcohol and Valium in short supply, the students are in real danger of being abandoned or worse, maybe eaten. Vincent, you've recognized the seriousness of the situation and have decided to escape the clutches of guaranteed institutional death and make your way to the nearest safe haven, which is Nanny's place. It's approximately 6 kilometers away, on foot, by road. No worries. I've worked hard to prepare you for this, just such an event. You'll hear my voice and wisdom replaying itself in your head every step as we embark on this next test of physical and mental resilience. Good luck, young warrior. Okay? This is your zombie apocalypse training day. We're going to make it to the house in short order. So this is what you can do today. You can either dump your pack out and take just what you think is useful to you in your pack, or you can just leave the whole pack here. It doesn't matter. I've brought this necessary safety gear with us, and all we have to do is get out of the car, suit up, and go. Okay? I've got a little map here for you in case, you do get lost.
Are you kidding
me? We go up the road, and there's an estimate time on how we get there. And if you're successful in completing this task, there's something in it for you. Do you know what this is?
A tube?
No.
A beret?
Yes. Ote?
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Are you going to dump your pack, or are you going to just leave it? You're going to dump the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to leave it here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're prepared to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to hit. So we left the school at 15:23. And the temperature has dropped to -1, -2.
Yeah.
You warm enough so far?
Yeah.
Cool. But the traffic on the highway is loud. Now, having said that, if this really was an apocalypse scenario, like I said, there would be no traffic, right?
Walk on the road.
We could. We would walk on the road, but you wouldn't see any other cars moving if it was a coronal mass ejection or an EMP. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we passed the first checkpoint, which is the intersection of Highway 10
I think so.
and Side Road 10. And I've got 15:33, so we were actually 10 minutes in motion. What was the estimated time on there? Flip it over to the card on the other side. Can you see the first one? You can take that card right out of there. Okay. Or slide it up so you can see. Okay, our estimated travel time from the school to number 10 side road was 10 minutes. Okay, the 800 meters. So we hit it right on the button, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're 15:33, so we're on track. Okay? We just keep motoring on at this point. So far, so good?
So far, so good.
Okay, just remember what I said. If this was a real scenario, there would be no traffic on these roads. Okay? But because it's simulation, we have the safety vests on so we don't get run over. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, why the hiking poles? Right? The reality is in the actual circumstances of an apocalypse and you're heading out, you would like to have a hiking stick or something. And if you had some emergency equipment with you, one of the things you might have is a knife or a saw. And you could stop, find a piece of hardwood, and cut yourself a walking stick or a hiking pole, right?
Yeah.
Because it does a couple of things. It helps with your walking technique and balancing load if you're carrying it. And it's a tool of self-defense. I have brought the hiking poles because in this modern day and age, you as a student at a school wouldn't be allowed to have with you any of the stuff that would be considered emergency equipment that would allow you to do that. Does that make sense? Okay, but having said that, on your hike, you could watch for and find a broken stick, or who knows, a stray pipe that's fallen off a truck, or something that you could pick up and use as a walking stick / hiking pole on your escape to the safe haven. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Good. And like I said, like this, there would normally be no traffic. If that scenario was real, there would be no traffic.
There's a vehicle up there, though.
Yes, I know. I'm just saying. If it was a coronal mass ejection or an EMP, there wouldn't be any traffic to deal with as a general rule. Okay?
Yep.
All right, we'll truck on to the next checkpoint. So, we just talked about this. One of the good things to have in your backpack with your school gear, even in this day and age, that you can carry is what?
Hand warmers.
Right, because if you were 3 days without power, trapped in that school, it'll get cold because there'd be no heat in the school. But if you had a couple chemical hand warmers, you'd at least have the opportunity to get warm at some point in time, right? So chemical hand warmers, something you should have with you all the time. Cool. And we are at 15:44, still on track. Da, da, da. And look, just like in the apocalypse, no traffic. What if there was traffic? What if there was human traffic? You're 3 days into, the civilization meltdown. You saw someone down the road. Would you automatically consider it safe to approach them?
Maybe not.
Not likely, eh? It's one of the things you have to consider is when the world goes off track, people who wouldn't normally do evil things will be willing to because there's no consequences when there's no rule of law. Okay? So on these adventures like this, might be inclined to avoid human contact until I get somewhere where I can trust people again. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. I know. Pick up the pace. We'll get behind schedule. So, it is 16:01 and we've made the next significant checkpoint. We're at the junction of Side Road 10 and Concession 2 on our escape to the safe haven. What was the time estimate on the card?
10 minutes.
From
38 minutes.
from from Highway 10
to concession 2.
to concession 2 is 1,500 meters was the distance estimate. So it says 38 minutes, right? And we were 1523 when we hit the junction back there, right? It's 1601 now. So that's 38 minutes to this junction, right on my estimate. That's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on track. All right. What's something else that if you were on one of these hikes that you might find useful that you could carry every day in your life at school in this circumstance where it's not an apocalypse?
Hiking stick.
You'll not be allowed to take a hiking stick to school. We just talked about that, where you would cut one on the way out. What about something like
Hand warmers.
the hand warmers we talked about? Here's something else. What is this? Binoculars. Because you're going to try and avoid human contact because there will be bad people out wandering around to try to do bad things, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So really small, really compact, easy to carry binoculars would allow you to scan way down the road or way down the road in the direction you're going to see if there were any threats ahead or threats coming up behind. So that'd be kind of handy to have, wouldn't it? You don't have to be real expensive ones, just really tiny ones, maybe 8 power like this, okay? Or a binocular that you could use to scan ahead to make sure there are no threats to worry about before you go on the next leg of your journey trying to escape to safe haven. Cool. Let's go. How far do we got to go? Okay, just by memory, it's about 1 kilometer down here to Walker Side Road. That's our next checkpoint, and that should take us 15 minutes or less. Okay, so my watch says 14:03, so we should be there by 14:18. Let's rock. All right, we've made the next checkpoint, concession 2 and Walker Side Road, and we left the last checkpoint at 16:03, and I estimated that it was 1 kilometer away, so 15 minutes was my allotted time, and it is now 16:18. 15 minutes to cover 1 kilometer. And while we were covering that kilometer, we talked about what other things you could have to keep on your person as emergency supplies that would be handy. And what were we talking about? Fire making stuff that the school would not get bent out of shape out. We don't think they're going to let you have matches or a lighter, but you could carry flint and steel. And what else do you need to go with that? Char cloth, right? It's not just the flint and steel. And there are some other things that we can teach you too, is like how you could start an emergency fire with some steel wool and a battery. That would be okay too, right? And we talked a little bit about night vision equipment, but the truth of the matter is night vision equipment isn't going to work if there was an EMP, if it wasn't protected from the pulse. Okay? Anything battery or battery operated will not work if it's not protected from the electromagnetic pulse.
Even little batteries?
Even little batteries. Okay? Electronic equipment will get fried. Hence why no cars will run, no cell phones will work, no lights will be on, none of that. Okay? The only hope you have is the occasional diesel engine will be able to start because it doesn't rely on a spark. Okay, it uses heat and compression, or a really, really, really old automobile that, has rudimentary things. It can be fixed up maybe. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So far, so good?
So far, so good.
You staying warm?
Yeah.
So we're staying on track with, if you had to make an emergency escape to get to a safe haven, we're on track with our time estimation, right?
Mm-hmm.
With just what you had today. No special equipment. All right, let's go. Oh, wait. What's our next stop? Get your cheat sheet out. Cheat sheet. Okay, I got 16-20 hours. So we're at Walker Side Road and Concession 2. And our next stop will be a kilometer down the road. About a kilometer down the road. let's have a look what I wrote on there for an estimate. Okay, Walker side road to the log house. Okay, the log house. There's a log house place that's about 1,000 meters down the road. That's kind of iffy because I wasn't 100% sure where it was on the map. I kind of estimated it, but we should be at the log house in 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then from the log house to 24 is another 600 meters, so 7 minutes. So we should be on, Gray Road 24, turning west, heading towards Safe Haven in 22 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It is 16:22 now, so 16:44. All right? You ready to get after it? You still warm enough? Yeah, and of course, with the cloud and everything, and the days wearing on, it's starting to get a little bit darker. So what's something else we could have in your everyday carry that you could have at school? That's some kind of small flashlight or a headlamp.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That'd be handy in case this walk took longer than you planned. Right? If it survived the EMP. And we'll talk about how to protect that equipment. Okay? Right? All right. Let's get on. Okay, so here's a question for you while we're walking along at a good pace. If it was a circumstance whereby something happened and you are making your way to a safe place, whether it be to go home or something like that, there would be no traffic, and you're going to be very cautious about approaching other people. But as you're going down these roads, you're going to come by houses.
Yeah.
Now, it's daylight hours, so it'd be hard to tell, if someone's there. Just, you're not going to see any lights. You're not going to see any vehicles driving in and out of the driveways or anything like that. But how could you tell if you're going to pass a building, if it's likely occupied by human beings? What?
Knock on the door.
Well, you're running the risk of getting into trouble then by going up and approaching a house where people might be desperate for food and water or emergency supplies, right? So if you know your goal is to go to your safe haven, as long as you can get there without help, you would probably try and avoid going and knocking on doors, right? Because you could find bad circumstances, right? Okay. So one of the things is how would you recognize whether or not a place has signs of occupation as you walk by?
Look, the footprints.
Well, it's winter months, right? So there might be tracks. Like you can see tracks here frozen along the side of the road that's frozen in. So there's been human beings walking along here and dogs walking along here. But, as you go by, there's a house up there on the hill. You can see through the trees. From here, as you're walking, as you're approaching, is there any way you're going to be able to say, well, it might be occupied, there might be people there? What signs would tell you that there were people there before the catastrophe happened? Well, if the power went out 3 days ago, odds are the driveway might be plowed. Right? Does that make sense? That then makes it a potential threat area. Okay? Does that add up? These are the kind of things you're going to look for. It's like, okay, what signs would tell you that even though, the world is collapsing around you, there's no power, there's none of that, and people could be in desperate circumstances 3 days without food, and you're going to go past the house, and maybe they look at you and go, oh, maybe they've got food or supplies, and you don't want them to take it from you, so you're going to exercise caution, so you'd be able to look at certain things and go, okay, how do I know? How would I know someone's there? Well, the driveway's plowed. That's a good sign. Now, they may have left, They may have gone to emergency centers or may have evacuated. But if all you want to do is get from where you were to a known safe place, like your nanny's house, yeah, you're going to try and get there without being impeded. So you're going to be a little bit stealthy and avoid human contact. Because as silly as it sounds, 3 days in, desperate people will do desperate things. During the ice storm of 98, when your nanny and your mom and I all lived in Smith Falls, in that part of Ontario, where we did without power for 14 days, 3 days in, most of our neighbors were in emergency shelters. They were not capable of living in their homes 72 hours after the power went out in the middle of January. Okay? Well, 5 days in, people were impersonating military personnel, driving around to people's homes, telling them that they were from the government, they were told to evacuate, and then as soon as those people left their house, they robbed the house. 5 days without power. That's all it took for the criminal element to become hyperactive in the community. That's why I say, given the circumstances whereby something like this happens, you're going to be cautious about approaching other human beings. You're going to be cautious about walking in a laneway and up to a house and making contact with somebody. Does that make sense? All right. So we got to pick up the pace and we're going to make some time. Here we go. So you know where you are. You can see the intersection of concession 2 and 24 ahead, right? No biggie. It's all good. Okay. So what if while you're walking up, you could see some movement down there and you know that's the road to your nanny's place, but you're not sure about the activity that's going on. You start to get a little concerned and you have to come up with an alternate plan to avoid that intersection because there could be some shady people doing shakedowns down there, stealing supplies from errant travelers. If you know where you are, which you should know where you are, what could be your alternate plan from here?
Walk that way.
Which way?
That way.
Which way?
That way.
Right. Where does that take us?
Through the forest.
Well, through the fields. Right to?
Your house.
Okay. Want to give it a go?
No.
Want to stay on the road?
Yeah.
Okay. We stay on the road.
Maybe another time.
Okay. But if you had to, you could because you know how to get there. You're not taking unnecessary risks by cutting across there. You know there's no houses there. And there's nothing between here and your safe haven, Nanny's house, other than those open fields, a little bit of hardwood, and my horses. Right? So if you had to, and you could look down there and go, oh, I had my binoculars out and saw some shady things going on down there, and I don't want to get involved, I could cut across the fields because I know how to get there to get to my safe haven. It may not be faster, but it would be
Safer.
There we go. What did you find?
This, which I'm feeling was a table.
Oh, okay. Niner Zulu, saving the planet. One piece of scrap metal at a time during his zombie apocalypse training. Oh, nice sign. Yeah, that won't exist if the zombie apocalypse starts.
Right.
We have made our next junction point, concession 2 and Grey Road 24, in approximately 30 minutes. So we're a little bit over our time estimate, but that's not bad. We are approximately 700 meters from safe haven.
Yeah.
700 meters from safe haven. Yeah. You ready to finish it up?
Yep.
Let's get her done. So we're 90 minutes out, and we are 300 meters from the safe haven. We'll be a few minutes over our estimated time, but we had some delays, like stopping to pick up scrap metal, digging out a mailbox post to see what was on the end of it.
You made it on time.
Yes, we did. We made most of our targets. And we had to stop and get the snow basket for the hiking pole. Technical failure, user failure. And then, of course, you know, we're assessing our status, and at least one of us has a sock crawling down his foot towards the toe of his boot. Things to note. We're too close for you to stop. Take your boot off and fix your sock, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But so far, so good. Yep, so far, so good. Yeah, the magic bus. There it is.
Face on it, though.
We're almost there.
I don't understand what you would call it the magic school bus.
Well, aren't all school buses magic?
Not really. I think you know him.
Probably. That might be the bus I pulled out today.
I thought you pulled out that bus.
No, not that one.
You pulled out a full-size bus.
Yes, I did.
With a small tractor.
Yes, I did.
One powerful tractor.
Because I'm a good neighbor, and I am a former engineer, and I know how to do that stuff.
One powerful tractor.
It's a good tractor. Mean green John Deere machine.
Yeah.
There we are. See,
That bus weighs like 10 times more than that tractor.
it does, but I'm smarter than the bus, so I got the bus out.
I think everybody's smarter than the bus.
Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not true. You'll have the chance in life to meet people who are not smarter than a bus. Okay? Trust me.
Lots of people are smarter than the bus.
Okay. We're almost there, buds.
There's one person you know that is not smarter than a bus.
Name one person I know that's not smarter than a bus. Well, one of them's name is Andy. Another guy's name is Kevin. Another one's name is Ian. I've met lots of people who are not smarter than a bus. And for people who see this video sitting at home that have those names, they're probably going to go, is he talking about me? Maybe. How do you know your dad's smarter than a bus?
It's easy driving.
All right. We're going to stop and talk to the neighbor.
He made me videotape him jogging to the mailbox. Looks like a lot farther on camera.
Oh, yeah, well, and I'm running with the pack, too. We're done. Safe haven. How's our time?
I don't know.
We left the school at 15:23. So 16:23 would have been an hour. 16:53 would have been 90 minutes. So we're 15 minutes beyond our time estimate. 15 minutes over our time estimate. But we did take some breaks and talked a lot while we were going, right?
Yeah.
But you did it.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do this.
I could.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of kids that couldn't do that at your age. All right, let's go finish up. Get something to eat. Okay, so we did it. We did the whole 6 kilometers after school with Niner Zulu. Yeah, the temperature dropped from around 0 to -6 by the time we made it here in 90 minutes. No injuries, no lost digits, no real concerns. Lots of good training, learning, conversation on the road. Chance for me to poke a little fun here and there, and for him to get a little bit of experience and just see what his limits are really like without any, unusual, necessary, specialized gear or equipment. I'm glad we got it out of the way. Now, I'll probably take the time to sit down and start reading this book, which was recommended to me by one of my associates who is smarter than a bus. Okay? and see if I really am a character in a novel. Last month or a month ago, somebody said they thought I was a character in a Tom Clancy book. Interesting. I don't think I've ever read a Tom Clancy book, to be honest with you. I might have to do that too. In any case, it was a good way to finish the day.